The artist I will be talking about today is going to be about Italian artist Annibale Carraci. More specifically, I will be discussing in detail a few pieces that include different depictions of Jesus Christ. Before I begin, I want to share a bit of information about the artist. Carraci was born in Bologna, Italy in 1560. Him and his brother were influenced by their cousin Levitico, who was a painter. They created different styles in which helped influence this new style being Baroque art in the 16 to 1700s. This style dramatized emotion, lighting, naturalism, and movement while being easy to interpret, compared to the earlier styles of mannerism, which was not always so easy to interpret. During this period, Baroque art embodied the renewed energy of the Counter-Reformation to communicate Catholic messages to energize believers. With that in mind, I decided to choose 3 pieces of Carraci's work which focused on the depictions of an important figure in Catholicism, Jesus Christ. The first piece I want to discuss is Carraci's Pieta. This piece is oil on canvas and was created in 1599 through 1600. What we see in this piece is Mother Mary holding what seems to be a dead Jesus Christ. Along the side you see 2 angels kind of in shock. The use of tenebrism in this piece really depicts the emotion being portrayed in the image. The darkness in the back brings light to focus mainly on the subjects and at a close distance. The vibrance within the subject show life, while the lifeless body of Jesus is extremely pale. Although his body is pale, it is still the main focus because the paleness stands out in the contrast to the darker, vibrant colors around the body. The next piece I want to discuss is Lord, Whither Goest Thou? In this piece, we have a live Jesus Christ holding what is still the cross. As you can see, this is part of the resurrection, because we still see that Christ still has the thorn crown and the wounds on right by his chest. If we pay close attention, you can see that this is more lively than the first picture I discussed. There is a bit more vibrance to this piece. In this, you can also see the other subject's face, that he is in complete shock because Jesus has resurrected. Jesus has the white cloth wrapped around his lower body, along with a red mantle wrapped on the top of his body. The red mantle Jesus has on symbolizes humanity and the blood that was shed. If you pay attention, you can see on the other subject around his waist he has keys. In Gospel Matthew 16, verse 18, Jesus tells Peter, "Thou art Peter, and it upon this rock that I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give it to thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever thou shalt bind on earth shall bound in heaven, and whatever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Given that information, we know that the subject here is Saint Peter. Given the warmth in the background, you can get the sense of emotion here that it is definitely more lively than the first one was, given that we had darker colors. And lastly, I want to discuss this last painting, Christ in Glory, done in 1598, painted with oil on canvas. We went from death, resurrection, and now Christ in all his glory. Here we see diagonals being used between the subjects to get to the center top where Jesus lies on a cloud. On the cloud next to Jesus, you see 2 angels cuddled up next to him. Surrounding Jesus, you see this aurora of light, really showing his holiness and divinity. Besides Jesus, we also see 2 different subjects on each end holding different objects. Now, if we go to the bottom half of this piece, we see about 5 individuals. Given their attire and their crowns, we would assume that these individuals are wealthy or royalty. These individuals all seem to be looking up at Jesus in all his glory, praising him and kneeling before him. The emotion on the subject's faces down below expressed almost resentment, even though depicted through warm colors. The warmth and value in this piece really shows God in His glory. I really enjoyed how Annibale was able to show 3 different scenes in which Jesus went through, and I really love the emotion within the subjects. I also enjoyed how every image had an increased value, so there was more color and vibrance.